the architect of what we probably look at is the original female action hero, this definitive female action hero, that the modern day female superhero, she owes you a debt of gratitude. She takes something from your work and carries that forward in a way. Do you think about that?
Well, I've heard some actresses I admire very much saying that. I feel that I created Ripley at a time when women were moving into all these fields which were traditionally male, including the armed services and all kinds of other sort of industrial jobs. And I feel that she, it was a time of great feminist action. And I just feel like nowadays, they've really started in earnest to create in this world, especially, really dynamic, real, compelling women heroes who are real women, not just sexy little creatures, but real women with real courage and drive and commitment. And I think it's way overdue. And I think unfortunately, it's not happening as much on Capitol Hill. But I think that's one reason why I love this space, is that so much progress can be made in terms of story and hero and diversity, and all kinds of issues are brought up in this space, and I think that it doesn't get enough credit, actually. It's sort of dismissed, I think, by major critics as sort of like, oh, that science fiction, when in fact we're dealing with a lot of very important issues.
Did you see Wonder Woman?
No, I haven't seen it, but that's just because I've been working so hard. I'm dying to see it. I really want to see it on the big screen. I may have missed that chance, but I hear it's awesome.
Elodie, you are playing, to not give away any spoilers, a very different version of Elektra. So you're essentially playing two roles while still maintaining the same person. Can you talk a little bit about how you approach that?
I felt exactly this way. It was like, being able to live again was great, and then it was, but she completely forgot who she was. So the interest for me was to explore what is it to be amnesiac, and being put here and being given weapons and being trained a lot by someone that I don't know. It's like everything is brand new for Elektra. So that was very interesting, to explore this side of it. And of course, as time goes, memory comes back, a little bit, and so I got to have my Elektra back. So you'll see it evolve, over the episodes.
Can you talk a little about her dynamic with Matt now that she's obviously a very different person?
All I can say is that she doesn't remember anything when she's brought back to life. So Matthew is a stranger. He's just part of this group that she has to fight, and so he's a stranger, a complete stranger. But maybe she still has him somehow, around here. I don't know.
Netflix is amazing with their villains. They're very good at selecting the background. What was your take on Alexandra, and what was your take on Elektra now with her new
Do you like this term, villains?
Well, I don't think we're villains.
We agreed we're not.
We're antagonists.
Yeah, complex.
Complex characters with other goals than their goals. Well, what I loved is, and I think this is true of what I've saw in Daredevil too, with Vincent D'Onofrio, that his character was, yes, he is not on the same side as Daredevil, but he's a very compelling character with a real history and a real reality to him. I thought they wanted to create the same idea with Alexandra. I tried to base her on an actual, on what we thought would be an actual person in New Yorker, with a great deal of wealth and experience and patron of the arts. Very complex. I think, the 8 shows gives you a chance to sort of develop whole thing is more than you would in a movie, which is one of the appeals to actors. I think it's certainly our relationship. Our relationship is probably the main reason I wanted to play the character, because I think it surprises Alexandra. It's really not something she can control, and she likes that and hates that at the same time. So I feel like, that was a big part of it.
You get to, again, no spoilers, but you get to do more than just utter dialogue in the first few episodes. You get to do a little bit of, I'll say, action. Was that something that appealed to you, to get in on that? Did you want to do more of that, or was it just the right amount?
I felt it was the right amount for Alexandra, because I feel like she has those skills, but she's at the point in her life where she'd rather talk. I don't think she's, she doesn't do all that. She has people to do that for her. And so she battles people in a different way, using her wits, using her charm and her intuition. So that was, I certainly was totally game to do whatever. And I do have a red belt in karate, but that's not really what they do. And I think they had a different idea of Alexandra. But I do get in there when I have to. Sometimes they're all over me. So, but pretty much I think that she has a lot of priorities. And it was weighing what was most important at the moment.
You make it sound like you didn't train or anything. I have to step in. She trained a lot, and you were really good at the action.
Well, I like all that stuff.
Sure, it was very nice to see you doing it.
Yeah.
One of the things, though, continuing with your character, I think she's written very well because she exudes a lot of power without saying a lot. Like, it's not like she has to walk into a room with 20 henchmen to demonstrate her power. She has it with even just being alone.
She has a lot of confidence and a lot of assurance. And really, I based it on people I've met in New York who are in business and who are so powerful they don't put a lot of effort into lording it over you. Nothing is that important to them except their own kind of goals and priorities, and so they're very offhand in a way about their power. They wear it quite lightly, even though it's deep and dense.
We were talking earlier about you creating this great, one of the first women superheroes, basically action heroes, and now you're playing these great villains, whether it's, sort of this or Avatar. I'm wondering what that creating a villain is like, or that transition.
Well, I don't really consider her.
Agonist.
I mean, I just, I don't approach anything in this genre any other than the way I approach any other kind of. Haven't really done. I know I picked some very good projects, but I'm an actor from the theater, and I've done mostly straight stuff for a long time, and so I just approach anything in this genre in exactly the same way, and. It's my job to create a compelling, believable character as in opposition to these four wonderful actors and in partnership with this amazing lady. And I think we all just went for it in terms of who we are. Very high standard on the show in terms of the acting and writing. And it was a great pleasure and privilege to come into this.
Just to follow up the question about power, I mean, I did it myself. There's an assumption, a tendency with you to imagine that because she's an antagonist, or because she's a very strong woman, we can link her in a lineage sense to Ripley. But in the way you talk about the construction of her, does she maybe owe more to Catherine Parker from Working Girl? Is that because she is actually a properly powerful woman, not in a punchy, action sense, but a woman who has more assumed power within her body and within her movement and in her presence in a room.
Well, I think that's very astute. I didn't think about Catherine Parker because, of course, I always think of that as comedy. But it's true that my role models for this were all men in business. Men I've met who are great patrons of the arts, but all their money comes from burning fossil fuels or some awful, and they think they're terrific. They just love what they're doing, and they want to keep on doing it. And your objections to it because of the planet is just like makes them giggle secretly inside. They're just like, oh yes, pish tosh. And I think there are a lot of real people like that, at least in our country right now, who are jumping up and down and wringing their hands with glee at, all the money they're going to make under Trump. So.
Because you mentioned Vincent D'Onofrio, who played this wonderfully in Daredevil, and you're interacting with Queen Raymond as well. Are we going to see interaction with, if the character describes or anything, interaction between this and Alexandra, since they're both powerful people?
I certainly don't have a crystal ball. He's in Daredevil, right?
Yes.
I don't know about the future, but I think that she, certainly in the real world of that New York, they know.
I have a quick question, but it's going to separate to a different subject. One of the things I love about James Cameron is the way he pushes technology in movies forward. He always raises the bar with everything he does. And obviously he's been working for years on developing these upcoming Avatar films. What have you seen in terms of talking to him about maybe how technology might push it forward, or the ideas, or what he's going to do?
All I can say is hold on to your hat, because every day when I go into work, I'm just like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. It's so remarkable. I think it almost bears no resemblance to what we did before. It's all developed so much. And now, of course, we have a lot of underwater sequences, too. I think it's just going to blow people's minds. The things he's had to create and invent in order to pull this story off, I think are going to make so many advances in so many industries, let alone this one.
Sure. I think you have to go. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Shall we jump in?
Yes.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about, it's an 8-episode season, and I'm curious, from when you guys first started coming up with the show to what people are seeing on screen, was there dramatic changes along the way? Or was it sort of like, this is what we set out to do, knowing Sigourney's character, knowing these things, or how much was it figuring it out in the writer? You know what I mean?
No, to be honest, no.
Sure. I'm just curious if this story, if you had the idea for the story and it was going to be like this, but you ended up doing something like this. Like, how... Do you know what I...
Yeah, no, absolutely. The only thing that hadn't kind of bubbled up, the only thing the writers' room hadn't seen yet necessarily was Iron Fist, because we I think seen early cuts of Luke Cage. I'm forgetting exactly where in the timeline all of this was, but the story that I took to Netflix and Marvel and said, this is the story I think I want to tell. This is a Defender story. That's ultimately what we ended up shooting, and Netflix was really kind of creatively wonderful to work with, because they're kind of just like, go tell the story you want to tell. Other people were asking about, did they have demands? Did they, because they have their algorithms, I'm sure, and all that. But really, they were just like, just creatively tell the story you want to tell. So some stuff changed along the way. The two things I think that changed the most probably were the fact that because Iron Fist and because Danny Rand and Colleen hadn't been cast yet, I started writing the first draft of the first couple of scripts before I ever saw Jessica or in Spaces. So it was like, it's crazy. So, but we always kind of kept them as just like, tentatively, once we cast it, then we'll go in and sharpen it and make it really specific for them. And so once Marvel, it was a great day, once Marvel came up and said, meet Colleen Wing, the writers all leaned forward like, A, because she's incredible, but also because it felt like, cool, now we know who we're writing for, now we know, what the cadence of the voice is going to sound like, now we know what she looks like, and that was kind of the final piece that clicked into place, if that makes any sense.
How did you kind of balance figuring out how much to, kind of explain to people who maybe hadn't seen all the other shows, and then how much to just kind of let people, assuming that they were all huge fans and diving in?
It was a tightrope to walk. We knew, I think, Marvel, Netflix, myself, everyone, the writers all knew there were going to be people who've seen every episode, the people who were just going to come see the Defenders. We wanted to make that a really enjoyable viewing experience for both. So, or also, in the other breakdowns, for people who only seen Daredevil, people who only seen Jessica who were coming to this. We're coming to the show just for Jessica, So we knew there was a line to walk between not over-explaining their abilities, their characters, their pasts, but also not under-explaining, if that makes any sense. So you wouldn't be lost and be like, wait, why can nobody shoot Luke Cage? I don't understand. So it was this fine line to walk, and hopefully, especially in the first couple episodes, it's orienting in a way, as opposed to disorienting.
Well, in that same vein, there's no real flashbacks, and you don't have to explain their powers necessarily. So I was wondering, in that sort of same vein, you sort of imply a lot of things, but a show like this would make could understand why some go flashback heavy or you go really exposition heavy.
Yeah, I think my instinct was always to stay away from that because it felt like some people have put 13 or 26 hours of their lives into investing in these characters. I don't need to show them a flashback of how Daredevil became, Daredevil. I just feels like our audience is so perceptive, is so smart, leans in, doesn't go. Our audience doesn't often go do laundry while these shows are airing. It's turn the lights down, put the kids to bed. It's Iron Fist time. It's Luke time. So we knew we could do with 2 lines of dialogue what maybe in other stories you might have to show the flashback. If that makes sense. Yeah.
There's a viral campaign going on for Colleen and Misty to team up. Do you guys kind of give a little Easter egg for that regarding them teaming up and possibly doing
Easter egg, huh? Oh gosh, I'm gonna get in so much trouble. I don't know what to say.
Well, I think what we can say is that this show is just beyond Easter eggs. As we were saying before, it's like
Almost every character meets at some point. That's fair, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
I think it's very safe to assume.
It's very safe to assume there are certain, just the joy of the Defenders is, oh my god, they're all in the same world, these 4 worlds are connected, they're all going to interact. Like, the joy, at least for the writers, and also I think for the actors, some of them just like couldn't wait. I remember Kristen specifically couldn't wait to work with Charlie, and Charlie couldn't wait to work with Kristen because they'd been watching each other's shows, tracking each other's shows, knowing the Defenders is coming, but not really, never having a scene, never crossing. And so they were so excited to finally be in scenes together. So I think some of it is just, giving the fans a lot of what they've been waiting for.
Iron Fist worked really hard to make sure that Colleen was more than just a love interest. She was her own person. She kicked so much butt.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How does the show continue to elevate her character?
Do you want me to? Do you want to?
Go for it. I would love to hear what you think.
For the title characters, I think it was always really important that this felt like Luke Cage season 1.5, Jessica Jones season 1.5. It's a story that comes before the second season of their shows. But that also, weirdly to us, in a wonderful way, trickled. It was like everyone felt like this needs to be the Foggy in Defenders isn't the Foggy from Daredevil season 1. He's grown, he's come a long way. So the Colleen, again, to go back to the weird, maps of Homeland, timelines on the board. We knew we were writing Colleen after the events of Iron Fist. So it was really hard to write episode 1 of Defenders, which we knew would come after episode 13 of Iron Fist, without reading episode 13 of Iron Fist. Mm-hmm. But Scott eventually, once there was a take and we heard what Scott Buck was doing and we knew what Jeff Wood wanted, we got to know, okay, we're picking Colleen up here, so let's give her some story, let's give her this arc and this journey. So hopefully every character has a satisfying arc and comes out of the Defenders change in one way or the other. Some of those changes are really big, some of those changes are a little more minuscule, but they're all really personal changes.
I feel like it's kind of inevitable that people are going to compare it to the Avengers in some way because it's just the idea of all the separate heroes coming together. So, was that something that you guys worried about or at all? Or is there any kind of common thread that you think there is, or just totally separate? The only similarity is multiple heroes.
I think in terms of how I explain it to my parents, that really helps. But the truth is that the world of the Avengers, those take place in 2-hour bursts, and they're beautiful, big, spectacle-filled movies. And just in TV, by the very nature of the way we make TV, they're smaller, more personal stories. So, in a way, I like to say, and this was my mantra in the room, was that if the Avengers were the Beatles, we were doing the Ramones, because this felt like street level, dirty New York. We're not leaving New York. We're never going to space. Luke Cage in space was not something that necessarily interested me for Defenders right now. But yeah, I hope that somehow.
I'd watch Luke Cage in space.
Tweeting.
Speaking regarding the putting all together 2 hours, you have only 8 episodes compared to the 13 for everyone else. How difficult was it to condense 4 heroes into 8 episodes when they all each had 13?
It was difficult, but ultimately I think the stories on their own shows were very personal, especially in the first seasons of the shows. You really need to get into Luke's head, you need to get into JJ's head and Daredevil's head to understand their worlds. You need to get into Danny's world to understand it's not a crazy person, it's not going to work. I don't know. All I can say is we crafted the stories in the room. We knew we liked 8. We kind of came up with 8 episodes worth of story, took it to Netflix, and they said 8 sounds good, and that was it. We knew there was a production kind of timeline where we would want to be able to send Kristen back in to start shooting Jessica Jones. I think she had like a week off before between Defenders and Jessica Jones season 2. But yeah, it was really organic that way.
After you first wrote it, then Iron Fist comes out, then Luke Cage comes out. How did that change over time from based on the reception of those shows or based on
mean, we really, in terms of reception, like we're shooting the finale when Iron Fist launched. Like that's how tight all this stuff is. Yeah. So really, it didn't really affect it.
One of the things I think that this is not a spoiler, but one of the things I think is very cool about the first 4 episodes is that you guys use color. Like there's a lot of yellow with Luke Cage, there's a lot of red with Matt Murdock. How conscious was everyone about using these primary colors, which are known for these characters, in the episodes?
It was really deliberate. It was largely thanks to the great execution by Kim Lloyd, the DP, and S.J. Clarkson, who directed the first 2 episodes, I think, of this, who also directed the JJ pilot. But we knew going in, we wanted form to mirror content in a way, and so we knew going in we were going to let these characters kind of all set them up and then slowly start crossing the streams and slowly start grading it. I never wanted there to be, in the first 10 minutes, like they're all sitting in a situation room like, this is what's happening. It felt like we need to get there also individual, they needed to get there on their own, they needed to get to the story on their own. And so it felt like SJ had this great idea to make their visual worlds separate so that when they started crossing paths, for example, like the first time you see Matt Murdock walking, because this is the trailers I can talk about it. First time, when Matt and JJ cross paths, the door behind him is red, so that there's a burst of red in the very blue-violet world that John has been set up in. And the same goes for, in the world of Luke being very yellow and golden hues with the very green world of Iron Fist and Colleen.
Were you aware of that on set, that they were going with these colors?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of SJ, who directed the first 2 episodes, and and so we sat down pretty early, and she talked to me about Colleen and what she had brought to the table in terms of developing the character. And one of the big things she said was, "Oh, your whole costume's going to change." That, and strangely enough, that I couldn't wear my hair down anymore. Yeah, I don't know. Can I talk about that? I don't know.
I don't think they're going to care what happens with the hair. Netflix will let that one go.
So let that one go. Well, there was this question of like, oh, Elektra has her hair down, so you can't have your hair down. So if you've seen the first 4 episodes, you'll know that my hair is always up. Pretty much always.
I did not put it together.
And I'm suddenly wearing green and grey. It's nice. It's nice to continually let the character evolve. And I think, like what Mike said, Colleen in Defenders is not Colleen in Iron Fist. She's gone through so much. She can't stay the same after that. And she's still really reeling from everything that's happened. So, but yeah, sorry, back to your question. Yes, I was aware that they were doing the color coordination thing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.